Alright guys, welcome. I'm making this video to talk about something really important which has been on my mind for a few days, which is ethics. And this has become more of an important topic, especially with organic dropshipping. And if you've been in this space for at least a year, then you would understand how more common it become. And at this point it has become the norm. And that's the problem. So back in 2025, early 2025, it was gaining traction. I would say the peak was around March to April, and that's where literally even the ethical products, like ethical dropshippers, at one point they were forced to run formats to compete with the market because the trends were always about, whether it's basically it's all about emotions. So they were trying to create some emotional trigger to make the customer purchase, okay? And this was a big problem. Now, to my surprise, I thought this was gonna be a matter of a few months and then it's gonna, go away. Fortunately for me, I've always been promoting the opposite, never do this. And throughout this time I was running my brand, I wouldn't know what other product I would run during this chaos of last year. But literally most pump and dump products were following this criteria, whether it is for the product or the marketing. And I want to highlight the word marketing because that's truly where it got messy, right? So to my surprise, this has kept going, and like I would say maybe around Q4, that's when it went down. But now I'm seeing it back up. And this is a problem. That's why I wanted to talk about this today, because it has become the norm. And I want to link this to the mindset. So whenever you're comparing yourself to others, comparison is the thief of joy. You all know this. And whenever you see someone, getting like generating 100k plus a month organically, okay, I don't want you to feel like you're behind. You need to always be rational about things. So I'll tell you where I'm coming from when I say this. So at the start, I thought, my very first achievement was 10k a month, right? This was a while back. And when I hit that, my next goal was 15k, then 20k, and then 30k, and so on. But then at one point, I reached like this realization that regardless of how much I achieve, there's always going to be someone who's younger than me and generating more than me. And to a point, I had to just, zoom out, look at this from a third POV, that, I had to run an ethical product and ethically market it. So this is why I need you to think the same way, okay? So whenever you feel demotivated, hopefully you're running, a good product by following the criteria. And I'll give you a brief explanation to what products you should be running. But I don't want you to feel demotivated just based off the results of others. And trust me, the reason I mention this again is because nowadays it's very normal to hear that people are printing like 50k, 100k months with organic. And I'll be very honest with you guys, okay? I'm not specifically talking about one person, but on average, if someone is making 100k, which is an absurd number per month, and again, this is organic. So with organic, you're getting like 70% profit or 60%. So that's crazy, right? For you to reach that point, you need to have so much, I don't want to say even knowledge. It's all about like, you need a brand, first of all. You need systems. You need someone who is like handling the customer support, creators, all of the above, right? But then that's why I want you to understand that when you see these numbers, unless there's systems to back it up, then the very second route that, in my opinion, rationally thinking, right? I'm just thinking rationally. The second route, apart from going for a brand with systems and creators and a team, right, is to go for these unethical marketing. So I want you to not fall for the trap of comparison whenever you see these numbers. What I'm trying to say is that in the long run, if you're doing the right thing, you're being ethical, you're running a product, you're looking at it as a brand owner, that you want to run it for a long time, build a team, and so on, then it's a marathon. In the long run, you're going to win. That's all I'm trying to say here. In comparison to, the flashy numbers that you may see and make you demotivated, these numbers are eventually going to go back to zero because, they cannot sustain, their unethical way of marketing. So this is a very important message, and I hope you guys take it in a positive way. The problem is, again, a lot of people have taken it as a normal thing to do, but I want you to think from a third POV. Like, dropshipping has been around for a very long time, and it's always been the move to, market the product in a good way, like a smart way, and then, you know, eventually, hopefully, build a brand out of it. Otherwise, you may have to dump it, I understand, but then you have to find the next product. But yeah, I just see this pattern where it has become, out of control. So that's the first thing which I wanted to address. The second thing, now I want to give you the solution, right? So if you don't want to go for this unethical way, which I would never recommend you do that, because again, it's gonna sting back, okay? This is not good. Instead, you want to go for the new way, and this is something which I've been doing for the past year plus, and this is not something I created or invented. This is something which actually even paid ads guys have actually had to adopt to be able to win in this game. This is something which is, it's like natural selection. Like, the game has changed, and whether you like it or not, you kind of have to adapt to survive, right? So this is the new way to actually survive in this game of dropshipping, right? So what do I mean by branded, right? Back in the days, when you were to see like a paid ads website and then you check it, it would be like a random toy that you could buy, and they would run it for like a few weeks, maybe a few months, and then that's it. And I'm talking about paid ads. Nowadays, even if it was a pump and dump product by paid ads, they would have the most prestigious website, like better than some of the best platforms you've seen. Why? Because they're using AI to create a very presentable website, very trustworthy and high perceived value website. And that's what I mean by brand. It's literally just a sugar coating on your product to make it look more trustworthy and something that you're willing to pay more for. You know what I mean? So this is really important. And some of the ways to, achieve this is again with AI. And AI, I mean, if I were to talk about this, it would take me hours, but I'll just address a few things. So the website is one of the best ways, and then the marketing. So AI with the website, and then with the marketing. So what do I mean by the marketing? Because this is something very new, and especially for organic. By far the most proven way, okay, that I've seen that people are using AI for marketing for, and they're succeeding with, is using it for the hooks. And I truly think that's the best way to start with it, because whatever product you're running, oftentimes it's not as good as you recording it. So just creating the hooks with AI is the best way to start. And you could use a lot of tools out there, but my personal preferred one is AI Studio, aka Nano Banana Pro and Veo 3. Nothing is sponsored. I'm just telling you my personal experience and preference. Next is gonna be CapCut for images. For images, I've started using literally always CapCut Pro's feature, and they have the Nano Banana Pro. So it's technically the same thing, but for some reason it's better. It's smarter to Photoshop your images. So yeah, when it comes to images, use the CapCut AI built-in attachment for images, and then for videos, you could use Hixfield or whatever. Again, this is my personal preference, and always prioritize organic content over AI when it comes to marketing. So organic is always going to be king, but it's not going to harm you to learn the skill of AI marketing and then do it together the ethical way, of course. So that's a few ways to create a branded store. And honestly, I want to go back to the paid ads topic. So the more I've been in the game of organic, the more I realize that paid ads actually is no different from us. In fact, they are just one step ahead of us with the website. And that honestly made me like the way they operate. So they would, put so much effort on their website to increase the CVR. They would use AI 10 times better than us, because they know the value that you get for putting high amount of effort on your website. For some reason, the average dropshipper, especially like the organic dropshipper, always follows the same thing. They would watch one guru, and then they would follow exactly what he did. for example, what theme he used, what offer he did, and that was it. They would just copy paste it and that's it. No, you need to always take one step ahead. So personally, whoever I use as a benchmark, so a mark of standard, is gonna be someone who's doing paid ads. So I'm not talking about creating an ad tutorial for your organic product. You don't need to. But the product page, you can learn a lot from it. And this is one thing which I'm slowly liking more. Perhaps, I mean, at this point, I'm very certain about it. I'm gonna reach a point where I need to do a hybrid approach, so organic, and then I'll use the organic content to paid ads, to pump it with paid ads. And that's one thing which I'm slowly merging. I'm merging that with organic so that I create like a big system of creating good content, using it for my paid ads, and then they both, fulfill each other. So I truly think that's the best way. And yeah, next time you want to learn something, check the paid ads guys, because they are the ones who are actually setting the standards high. I'm not saying they would never do unethical marketing. Some people would argue that it came from them, but in my opinion, at the current state of the game, I truly think that the paid ads guys are doing better. I don't know if it's just me, but there's no longer competition in organic. Like whenever I look at other brands or other pages, it's only like literally 1%, if not less, who are actually doing it properly, the branded way. The rest are all doing it pump and dump or unethical way. Chaos out here. So hopefully you guys are, understanding the game better now. And the message which I'm trying to share here, because it's very important, is that you need to be very ethical with everything you do, because in the long run, this is gonna reward you. Okay. So in the short term, it might seem like you're missing out, but trust me, if you just find a good product, okay, follow criteria, which is something with high value. So high value in terms of emotions or experience or problem solving, and then preferably something that has different angles. So it could be saturated, and preferably saturated in fact, but then you could change the marketing angle to reach untapped markets. Okay, so you're picking a very saturated red ocean product, taking it to a blue ocean untapped market. And then lastly, I would say something that could preferably has a proven concept, so someone has done it before, has worked out for them, and they're still running it preferably. And then lastly, something that could be branded, so something that you can see yourself running for the next 6 to 12 months at least. Okay, that's my general way of thinking. And then obviously the target audience. So this was a lot of sauce just to give you guys a solution to shine in such a difficult game at the moment. So hopefully you guys have learned something from this, and if so, subscribe, join my Discord. We also have a brand which is launching in less than a month by now, so if you would like to join the team, this is going to be a very exclusive product, so never seen before. I have actually put a lot of effort onto this because I'm trying to set an example, create a branded store. I have my first winner, but then this one's going to be truly custom. So yeah, if you're interested, let me know on Discord. And yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.